right. Thank you for joining the Western Youth Soccer Referee Forum. My name is Jeff Daniels, Director of Referees. It's May 15th, and we'll just be going over a few things today. Appreciate those of you who've been able to join. And let's jump in. Okay, so first, a couple of announcements. So I do have the referee pictures. I picked those up today. They're still out in the car, or else I'd show them to you. I've got those, and I will be handing those out on Saturday. You can see here, I'll just be in that main pavilion by NN and Field Q from 8:30 to 11:30 on Saturday. So when you're buying your corn dog, if they come again, then just stop by and get your picture. I do have a list of everybody who was there. So if you're one who was there, then you will be able to get one of the pictures. I also have the thank you cards for the Referee Appreciation Week from last week. And if I did not find you last week, and I have it marked down, then you'll also want to come and collect that. And that will be, same place, just in the pavilion. I'll just be planted there and ready to talk to you. So if you have games early or later, I'm going to sit there and do that. Several of you have been moved to standby or from standby to active assignments. So be sure and check that and see if you are now needing to accept an assignment. So please go in and check that. And then this Saturday, and this might be more for the parents, but also for the referees, I'm going to send out 2 surveys. One is to collect feedback on this referee program and how we're doing, what's working, what's not working, what you'd like to see different. I'm always open to feedback on how we can do this better, how I can help you better. And I, as well, will send one out. And on this one, the second one, I would like to have 100% response, is if you're planning to return to ref in the fall. I do have kind of a waiting list that's growing. And so if you're not planning to come back, then I need to know that so I can let some of those people in for the training. And if you are coming back, I need that to know that so I can reserve your spot. So when that comes back, and be sure to look for it, please fill one out for each referee in the family. Any questions on any of the announcements?
Do we have to retake the IRF training?
So you need to take the IRF training 1 time per calendar year. So if you took it, and for the Adamsons, you were new in this spring, you would not need to take it in the summer. It's not required. However, it's free to do it. And if you would like to do it to refresh, now that you've seen a few games, do it to refresh. Go over things again, see if things make a little bit more sense. You are certainly free to do that. I will be sending that out to everybody, but you can make that choice. It is not required if you already took it in the spring. If you took it last summer and did not take it in the spring, then you would need to this summer. That's how that works. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay. Any other questions about these announcements? Okay, let's go to our next slide. So, coach feedback. This time, really the way I want to handle this is there's 5 referees. There's others, but these 5, Grady, Addie, Lily, Seth, and Thomas, all of you had games that you were refereeing that got a little bit spicy. I'll describe it that way. Either coaches not being happy or fans not being happy, and you were able to handle it yourself. And I appreciate you sticking with it and facing that adversity. Referees do need to have thick skin, but we are also know that we are enforcing the zero policy or zero tolerance policy. We'll talk about that a little bit later in this meeting, but I just wanted to call out those 5 for games that I'm aware of where things were a little more difficult than usual. And just point out, thank you for remembering your training and for doing your very best in a more difficult situation. So well done for that. And then just a general thank you. This is our last referee forum. Saturday is our last week of games for the spring season. Just thank you to everybody. for coming and working hard. I say this a lot. Those of you who are referees are braver than the 95% of the people sitting on the sidelines because you get out there, you do it, you do the work where they wouldn't dare to. So I want you to take confidence from that. I always want you to work and get better, but I want you to realize that, I believe in you and I believe that you are doing great things for the league, for our community, and for yourselves as you learn to do this difficult job. So, congratulations to all of you for making it through the season. All right. Any other comments? Maybe you observed something you'd like to call out positive about one of your referees or a coach or something that impressed you? All right. Let's move on then to some of the coaching opportunities. And some of this is a repeat from last week. We need to make sure there's absolutely no slide tackling. If they go down, then if they fall down, that's one thing. But if they're going down, going for the ball, you need to blow the whistle against that and put a stop to it. Explain why you're making that call and stick with it and be very strict with that. This is where injuries happen. And this is where anger happens when people start doing that. So if you can stop it right at the start, I would also mention it in your pregame speech. There is no slide tackling. You're looking for it, you're watching for it, and you will not allow it. All right. The next point is to call the fouls. In general, when a player is knocked down, there's likely a foul. And so if you call that, especially early in the game, that should ease that off a little bit. Don't wait to see if a player got hurt. Sometimes they're just going at it and bumping at it. But when a player is knocked down, you need to make your best decision and call the foul. In our league, that's not how we play. And so we need to stay on our feet and we need to not be doing any shoulder digs, arm extensions, chicken legs where they're sticking the leg around somebody to trip them. So just be watching for all of that type of contact. I have observed this a little bit, and it's very hard to see because you, as the center ref, are behind the play some of the times, especially when it's going to the sideline. But I've observed this that some of the players will do a full arm extension on the back of a player in front of them when they know that you're behind them. And so it's hard to see that, but just be aware that that's something that is going on. Try and just keep an eye on that, be looking both at the ball, but also at the player in front to see, don't fall for the dives because that happens too, but just be watching to see if, their head is going backwards or they're just going to the ground in an unexplainable way outside of it being a push. So just keep an eye on that. We had some feedback on the penalty spot. Can someone explain to me how you count to the penalty spot? Where is that? Where does that need to be? Anyone feel free. I know you know. This is for posterity. 10 yards, 10 yards from the goal line. So take about 10 big steps from the goal line
Oh,
and
okay.
put
I
it
thought it
there.
was 12. Sorry.
Why would it be 10?
Um, Closer to the goal, so it's easier to score for players, maybe.
Because it's a direct kick if you're doing a penalty kick, right? And if it's not a penalty kick, if it's a direct kick from anywhere else on the field, it's also 10 yards, right? So, and
Oh,
that's why the goalkeeper has to stay on their line as well, because that makes it 10 yards from that imaginary circle that you draw around them. That's why the referee paints the line. Professional referees paint the line on the field so that the 10 yards back. That's why that spot is 10 yards away. And if you look at the circle on top of the 18-yard box, if you were to measure that from that penalty spot, that completes the 10 yards. Small fact that you may not have known. So you just count it from the line. There were a couple of referees that put it all the way out on the line of the 18-yard box. So that's 18 yards, not 10. That's too far. So just bringing that up again, just count out, your 10 yards. Okay. The next one just helps for keeping some of the spiciness down. If a coach is asking for clarification on a call and they're doing it politely, go over and answer. Just have the conversation. A lot of times they just want to know what's going on. Most of it can be solved by blowing the whistle loud and making big signals. Sometimes they may not understand it, so that you just go over and you explain it. If they begin to argue, then we'll go over that in a minute about not dissenting. And there's a line, they may just say, "Oh, I don't quite understand that." And you say, "All right, please put that in the coach feedback." Right? Um, but sometimes you can just have a quick conversation and they'll say, "Okay, got it. Thank you." Any questions on that? All right. And then the last two, these are just placeholders. Always blow the whistle louder and make sure you signal for all to see. This keeps people understanding what's going on. It keeps the game in the right way. On the whistle, let me ask this question. When you blow the whistle and the players don't hear it or they don't recognize it and they keep playing, what should you do? Or what do you
Keep
do?
blowing the whistle.
How? How? Describe how you blow the whistle.
Multiple short stops.
Correct. Because that's going to get their attention more. If you just blow the whistle again, that sounds just like the one they just ignored. So you do a whole bunch of short ones and be running towards the ball so that you're getting it back. That gets people's attention so fast. Okay. What I have heard is the referee will blow the whistle, the kids don't hear it, they keep playing. The referee will blow the whistle again the same way and just keep walking and waiting for people to stop. If they keep playing, you need to take more aggressive action, which is with your whistle, and then you're running up to stop the play. And then that helps people understand better, again, understand what's going on, that you've made a call, and that you're going to enforce it. Any questions on any of this coach feedback? All right. Let's see in the question. Are we allowed to card coaches in any age group or just U15 and up? For this season, just U15 and up. The board will be in discussions this summer about how we want to handle that going forward. But for now, you would just, and we're going to go over this on the next slide. For now, if you feel that there's a need to do something about dissent, we're going to go over that exactly next, actually. All right, so let's go to that slide. So let's just go over this. When a coach starts to dissent your calls and it becomes a little bit more serious, you know what I'm talking about. They're shouting at you. This is what I do. I stop the game. I walk over to them or I jog over to them and I ask them, "Do you have a question about something?" And then let them explain it. And then I explain it to them. Usually, even if they don't agree with it, they'll say, "Okay, I get what's going on." Right? If they continue to dissent, insult you or say that's not how it should be or anything like that, then you know the line from the RF training. You need to tell them to stop so that the match can continue. And you need to always stay calm and communicate with them, but that's what you're communicating, right? Don't start shouting back. You're going to have to be the mature one here. You're going to have to be the adult in the room. And so that is how you would handle that. You have the power and you say, "I need you to stop dissenting my calls so that this match can continue. Please help me to do so." Okay. If a parent is dissenting, then you walk over to the coach again and you need to tell them that they need to talk to their sideline and tell them to stop. We have communicated with every coach multiple times that they are ultimately the one responsible for their sideline. As I've been riding around on my scooter, I do hear a bit of chirping from parents. So the way that this needs to happen is you just go to the coach, which is also why you introduce yourself to the coach before the game. They know who you are. They know that you're a person. You're going to go over to them and say, "Your sideline is dissenting my calls and it needs to stop. I need you to tell them. Make sure you're not talking directly to the sideline about this. in this situation. The coach is the one who's responsible. If the parent continues to dissent, I should put that in, then you walk over to the coach and tell them that they need to stop so that the match can continue, and it follows the same pattern. If these things are happening, I need you to always put these in your game report. And if your game report is more than 255 characters, I need you to send me an email. And if it gets more serious, I need you to give me a call or a text. This last weekend, I did get a call and I needed to go over to a game. Okay, so I was glad that that referee called me and we were able to take care of things. But this is the best way to handle those situations up to the point of a rare situation. And again, I do want to reiterate the point. You need to have thick skin. If people are reacting to your calls like, oh, or something like that, just focus on what you're doing. It's when they start to attack you, say, that's not what it should be. I could do better. You're not a good referee, things like that. That's when it needs to be addressed with the coach. And then after the game with me. Now, if it crosses the line and goes all the way into personal insults, consistent dissent, then you need to tell the coaches after the warning that the game is terminated, blow the whistle, and leave in the opposite way. This is all in the IREF training. It's not new. This should also be very rare, but it does happen. And I just wanted to have this conversation so that you feel a little bit more prepared if you see that situation. Okay, you have the power to do this, the authority to do this, but again, it should be very rare. Don't get such thin skin that, any little thing is going to cancel the game, because that's not right either. It should be when it crosses the line to be more aggressive and more angry, and where it's becoming less of a safe situation. That's when you would do that. So I'm opening it up now. Have you seen anything? Are you aware of anything? Do you want to talk about anything that has to do with this type of situation? Okay. If you ever do, you have my phone number, and I would need you to call me about that so that we make sure we're clear, and so that we make sure we're handling all of this the right way. Again, yeah, for Caden just mentioned in the chat, he had to terminate in his first year. In that one where he had to terminate, parents were actually on the field about to fight, like this. That's a reason to cancel the game, right? Not just because they're, making noises and disagreeing, but as soon as they start saying, you're the worst ref ever, okay, that's crossing the line that's crossing the line, and we wouldn't continue at that point either. So reach out if you have questions, email, text, call, find me at the field. And then if it ever does happen, even if you don't have to terminate the match, but things are going poorly, as soon as the match is over, if you have a phone, I need you to call me. If you don't, I need you to get with your parent and call me so that we can deal with it as soon as possible. Again, this should be rare. And I think all of you have had amazing experiences this year with most of the games where they've gone very well. That's both a reflection on the coaches, the parents, but also the job you're performing. So take confidence in that as well. Okay. Let's then go to our next slide. You'll notice here, everything is either stayed the same or it's green. I didn't get too much coach feedback this time, and that which did come in was a positive. So we're going to take this one as a win, right? On time percentage, 96.7. We kept it. Let's keep it for our last week. Full referee kit and pregame inspection, 100%. Pregame coach introduction, 85. Shake his hand. Shake her hand. I'm so-and-so, and I'm going to ref your game. Halftime introduction. This is the first time we're over 60%. Congratulations. Thank you for responding to my request that you do that. Start the game on time. We rose up to almost 92%. Ending the game on time, 96.7. Fouls called timely, 83.6. The reason that that's not higher is just because some coaches are observing that when players get knocked down, that a foul isn't being called. On the other hand, the other coach might say, yeah, that was the right call. It was nothing. What I'm saying is if players are getting knocked down, uh, make a serious decision if that's a foul or not. Play out line enforcement still at 95%. I've only got one where that wasn't the case the whole season, so great. Whistle loud enough. This did raise to 82%. Calls from the seen from the sideline. That means your signals up to 80.3%, close enough to the play. 86.9. So that went up a couple of percentage points this time. And then coaching provided on the field, 72.1. Remember, these last four all have to do with confidence, believing in yourself, and doing the job of a referee to enforce that and not be shy about it. So all of that was increased this time. Good job. I see a question in the chat. If you have to stop the match for dissent, do you do a drop ball? Ideally, you stop it when the ball goes out of bounds, but if you have to stop it, then yes, you'll just do a drop ball for the team that had the ball. And remember, a drop ball is not like in hockey where it's a face-off. A drop ball is for the team that gets the ball. You put the ball waist high, you drop it, it has to hit the ground, and then they can take it. The defending team can't just come in and swoop. The other team has to take possession before they can come and do that. All right. Okay. Any questions on any of this? And then our last one, any questions in general? That was your chance. All right. I must have answered everybody's question already, or you've already asked in previous sessions. Is the referee forum helpful for you guys? I think I asked earlier, but overall, is it helpful to have this meeting? Okay, I'm getting a yes, some thumbs up, thumbs up. Very good. All right. There's a question in the chat. What happens if a coach walks on the field? Can you describe that a little bit more to me?
What if a coach gets on the field and start yelling at you?
Then you're going to say you need to go back to your sideline or this match will be terminated. And if they don't go back to the sideline, then you terminate the match. That's not that I haven't seen that happen before. Have you? Did that happen to you?
Yes.
Okay. Did you put it in a game report?
Yeah.
You did. Okay. For that type of thing, please also send me an email and call me. All right. Okay. Let's see. Seth, I would also like to shout out to Quinny's team. They have been super helpful for me all season. Yeah, it's great to call out the coaches that are helpful. Some of them are very friendly and very understanding and willing to allow all of us to learn. This is all a learning situation. I think we all know that by now. And I think most of the coaches know it. And most of your experiences should be positive and good. But yeah, James and or Russell, if you're seeing a coach walk onto the field to dissent your call, then they need to be told to go back immediately or the game will be terminated. And if they don't, then you terminate the game and you call me. We have to enforce that. And something like that, you should let me know loud and clear that that's what happened. Sometimes maybe you put it in the game report, and I'll go back to all of your game reports to look for that and see it. But sometimes if the game report is longer than 250 characters, then it just disappears from the internet. I can't read it because it doesn't come across to me, which is why you would need to do that in an email. Okay? Any other
Got it.
questions? All right, let's go ahead and call it. For those of you that were in the picture, I'll see you hopefully on Saturday. For those of you who haven't received your thank you card, I will also see you on Saturday. And then otherwise, we'll see you on Saturday when be working your games. Get around as many as I can outside of sitting there waiting to hand those things out. Have a great Friday. Have a great day of refereeing, and we will see you the next time. Thanks.